Welcome to Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we're going to show you how to change the oil pressure switch on this 2013 Honda Accord. It's going to apply from 2013 all the way to 2017. Let's get to it. Our parts and tools needed are going to be, of course, the oil pressure switch, some Honda Bond RTV, as well as a 24mm deep socket and a socket wrench. If you're going to use an impact, you're going to use the impact, of course, as well as a 19mm socket to remove the wheel lug nuts, and then of course some brake cleaner to clean any oil that might be hanging out. And of course, not pictured here, of course, you're going to need a jack and a jack stand. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jack up the vehicle. We're going to actually go ahead and take off the wheel. Looks like somebody jacked it up in the wrong place before. Wasn't me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off the lug nuts here. These are 19s. If you're doing this using like a breaker bar or a lug wrench, you just want to jack up the vehicle just a slight bit and then crank them loose. If you have an impact, really don't need to worry about that. All right, I'm gonna put my jack stand on probably under the subframe at this point because I have the jack point taken up. Probably jack it up just a little bit more. I want some more height. Okay, we'll go ahead and lower it down. All right, so the location of the oil pressure switch is right here on the bottom on the passenger side rear of the engine block. So it's going to have a boot over it. As you can see, ours is covered in oil. That's why we're going to go ahead and replace it. They do leak. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this rubber boot off. All right, you may have to fight it a little bit, but then you're going to find out that you have a little tab to pinch right here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and pinch it. And we're going to pull backwards. So you can see the connector is kind of covered up in oil. So now what we're going to focus on is removing this oil pressure switch. Just know that it's a 24mm socket that you're going to need for this, but also you may want to have a drain pan on the bottom to collect any oil that does come out. It's not going to be very much, so it's not a big deal, but just a heads up. So now I'm going to go ahead and my 24mm wrench in there, a little socket on that. You're going to need a deep socket because it's a little bit too long. So I'm going to try to get this on there, fitted on there. There we are. So now we're going to break it loose. I think I should be able to get it by hand at this point. There we go. Just have your pan ready for any oil that does come out. All right, it's not a big stream, but it's coming now. So now we're going to go ahead and get our replacement sensor. I'm going to try to clean up the area with brake cleaner on the connector especially, and then just get some of this oil out of there. I'm going to use a paper towel on that. Just clean it up a little bit. I'll get this with brake cleaner once we install the replacement pressure switch. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up our new pressure switch. I went with an original Honda because I read that the aftermarket ones aren't always the greatest. And this one's lasted forever, so looks like it's exactly the same what do you call it? Same like markings on it, so you get the little D and then the stamps and stuff like that. So looks like we're good there. So what we have to do here is we actually have to put some essentially RTV, which is what Honda Bond is, but it dries faster, and that's what Honda recommends that we use. And this stuff isn't that expensive. I think I spent like maybe 16 bucks on this for this tube. If I went with a bigger tube, that would have definitely cost me somewhere almost 100 bucks. But since I'm gonna probably have limited uses for this, I'm just gonna go ahead and use I just bought a small tube. I think this is, I don't know how many ounces it is, 1.9 fluid ounces. So there's a little piercing thing there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the tube out. Now normally on any RTV tube they usually have it sealed here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use a flat blade here, and I'll probably just go ahead and cut it here. And then we're gonna go ahead and squeeze it. What we want to do is we just want to coat the threads. Alright, I'm gonna probably just give it a little smear just to kind of get it in there. Kind of like that. Alright. And that should be fine. I'll just give it a little bit more just to... This stuff gets messy, unfortunately. There we are. All right, now we're gonna go ahead back to the back of the block, and we'll just go ahead and thread it in and give it we'll torque it down. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and thread in the new oil pressure switch. Almost had it. I feel like the threads aren't even catching, which is kind of odd, unless I'm not getting it. Let's make sure I'm not going crazy. I was going crazy, guys. Sorry about that. There we go. Now we got it threaded in there. All right. I don't have a torque wrench for this half-inch socket, but this is a 13 foot-pounds of torque to go ahead and tighten this down. So I'm just gonna get it in there eventually. There we go. And after we're done tightening it, we're going to let the car sit for about an hour before we actually start the engine. That's what Honda calls a fast cure. A full cure is actually 24 hours. So you just want to be aware of that. All right, now that we have it done, I'm gonna go ahead and put our connector on there. The orientation may be different since the connector is spun out differently. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a quick spray with some brake cleaner just to get some of that oil out. Alright, and then I'll just wipe it down. I just don't know what I did with the paper towel that I had. Okay, give it a wipe down. And that way it looks brand new, clean, and if it's leaking again, you'll definitely know. Alright, that's it. We're done. Alright, before we put our tire on, just gonna go ahead and get the jack stand out. Okay, let's go ahead and get them in. Again, if you're not using an impact, you'll need to tighten them up just a slight bit with your wrench, and then let the wheel touch the ground slightly and then tighten them. But because I have an impact, that will not apply. We'll lower the vehicle down, and then we're done. Thank you for watching Mobile Car Mechanic. Today we just showed you how to replace the oil pressure switch on this 2013 Honda Accord. Again, this will apply from 2013 all the way to 2017. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.